And in this video we're going to take a look at some of those more scary symbols that you might have seen in regular expressions, like question marks, plus sign, dollar signs, and so on. First though, we're going to take a look at the OR operator. American people and British people are constantly arguing over whom uses the more correct spelling. That's a well-known fact. For example, do we spell color with just an O or with OU? Do we spell center with ER or RE? It's quite silly, but it provides a great example for us to work with. Say you were on a forum and you wanted to perform a search. Let's say you wanted to search for the word center. As we know by now, there's two ways people will spell this, so we want to look for both variants. With regular expressions, there's a very easy way to do this, and that's using the OR operator. The OR operator is pretty much just the pipe symbol. Just like in PHP, actually. Now, there is something important you need to know pertaining to this OR operator. Normally, regular expressions perform matches that match characters separately, right? Well, the OR operator matches everything to its left or everything to its right, so that's a bit confusing. Anyway, let's use it, and let's put center, pipe, center. As you see, both get matched. However, this is a bit overkill, I guess. Look very closely at the two words. We have CENT here, and we have the exact same thing here. So we really don't need that twice in our regular expression. So let's get rid of this cent here. And now you see the OR operator in action. Now you see how it works. It matches either center, like it does here, or it matches RE, like it does here. So that is what can cause quite some problems to beginners. Just remember that it matches everything to its left or everything to its right. So how can we fix this? Quite simple, just like you would do in PHP, pretty much. Just put parentheses around them, and now you see both get matched. Now, let's move on to some symbols. In the previous video, we saw the caret symbol, and it pretty much said match anything that is not within the character class. Outside of character classes, though, it does something completely different. Now it matches the beginning of a string. So let's say we wanted to match this, so the uppercase THIS. We could do just this, and let's make this one uppercase as well for the sake of this tutorial. And that would match this one, but also this one. But what if we only wanted to match it at the beginning of the string? We would put the caret sign in front of it. As you see, this one gets matched, but for some reason this one does not get matched, even though we have global turned on. So why is that? Well, this is basically one big string. It just happens to consist of multiple lines. If we want to treat each separate line as a separate string, we have to use the multi-line flag. And as you see, it says multi-line causes the caret and dollar sign to match before and after new lines instead of the start, and it just went away, instead of the start and end of the string. So let's click that, and now you see this one gets matched as well, because they are both treated as separate strings now. And in the syntax here, you see the M flag gets added. Now, similarly, you can use the dollar sign to tell the regular expression to match the end of a string. So let's say we wanted to match tutorial. and it will match all of them. But we only want to match it if it's at the end of the string. So we put the $sign at the end. And as you see, it does not select this one. Now, you might wonder, when is this ever going to be useful? And that would be quite a good question to ask, really. But it's quite useful when validating user input. For example, say you want to validate that a user has input an integer. So let's get rid of this and just an integer like 456. Now, you could use a regular expression like \d for digits and then plus. Don't worry about that plus for now. I'm going to get to that in the next video. Just follow along, don't worry about it. And you might expect that to work. But let's say the user did some input like input 456 and you see it would still match. And that's because this looks for a digit anywhere in the string. So how can we fix that? Well, we only want it to happen when it starts at the beginning. And as you see, that works now, right? Not quite yet. We also have to put the $sign there, just to be completely sure. Because, I put the input in the wrong place here. My bad. Let's get rid of this $sign and now put input here, and you see it will still match. So we also need to put the $sign. So let's take a quick look at what this means. We look for the beginning of a string, which is right here, but it's also right here. Then we look for any digit character, and we keep searching for that. We keep matching digit characters. That's what the plus sign means, but I'm going to go more in depth on that in the next video. And then we're going to match the end of the line. So here we see beginning of a string. We have that. We have a digit character, we have another digit character, but then an I. But we want to match the end of a string, so this line does not get matched. Next line, we have the beginning of the string, but then we immediately have an I, whereas we expect a digit character, so it does not get matched. Now here finally, we have the beginning of a string, a digit, and another digit, and then the end of the string. Now, of course, PHP has functions for things like this, but regular expressions can be used with a very wide array of languages, some of which do not have the same functionality that PHP does, like an isInt function. And that's when a regular expression like this would be extremely helpful. And even within PHP, just to practice regular expressions, just to train yourself in regular expressions, this can be extremely helpful. Okay, so we have seen a couple of symbols now. Though they might have been a bit confusing to you when you first looked at them, this really wasn't too difficult, I think. However, though we looked at only a couple of symbols so far, we already have one symbol with two different applications, and that is what makes regular expressions so confusing. So I hope you can still follow along, and if you can't, that's okay. Just watch the video again, or better yet, try to experiment with everything a bit and try to figure it out yourself, and then you can just watch the video again and see if you were right. I just can't stress this enough. Training yourself with the knowledge you have obtained is the best way to learn something and the best way to get better at something. Alright, next part I'm going to talk about more of these symbols, one of which is this plus sign.